Good afternoon to everyone. Yeah, is my voice audible?
Yes, madam, audible.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, madam.
Thank you.
Yes, madam.
Good afternoon to everyone again. So, a warm welcome to day 5 of our 2-week online faculty development program on the art and science of successful proposal writing, techniques, strategies, and best practices. Over the past sessions, we have explored the key stages of proposal development, from conceptualizing the idea and designing the methodology to budgeting and resource planning. Today, we move into one of the most crucial phases of the proposal journey, structuring and writing the proposal itself. A proposal's impact is determined not only by its content, but also by how clearly, logically it is presented. Understanding the required formats, funding agency guidelines, and evaluation parameters is essential to transform an idea into fundamental document that stands out among hundreds of submissions. We are indeed privileged to have with us Dr. P.S. Rama Srikanth, Professor and Director, Ranking and Accreditation, VIT AP University, a distinguished academician with vast experience in proposal evaluation, research project coordination, and institutional quality frameworks. Now, I would like to request Mr. B. Ramesh, Senior Assistant Professor, ECE Department, to introduce our speaker of the day. Sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Good afternoon, all. It is my privilege to introduce today's session's resource person, Dr. P.S. Ramasrikanth sir. Dr. P.S. Ramasrikanth sir has obtained his doctoral degree from IIT Guwahati and has 17 years of research and teaching experience. Currently, he is a professor in School of Mechanical Engineering, Vellore Institute of Technology, Andhra Pradesh, VIT AP University. He also serves as a director, rankings and accreditation. His areas of specializations are honeycomb sandwich structures, polymer composites, sustainable solutions, biomaterials, nanocomposites, 3D printing, and additive manufacturing. He is an active researcher with over 130 publications in journals of international repute and has 15 patents to his credit, out of which 14 published and 5 granted. He has H index of 28 and I10 index of 67. He has produced 7 PhDs under his supervision and currently 4 scholars are working under him. Dr. Srikanth worked on various research and consultancy projects, both completed and ongoing, from DST, SERB, Bumerc, Dassault Systems, and other private companies to the tune of 20 million INR. He has authored 14 book chapters, out of which 6 were invited by editor to contribute to research module in material science and engineering elsewhere. He has attended more than 30 international conferences as participant and also as resource person across 6 countries. He is an active reviewer for over 100 international journals from reputed publishers like Elsewhere, Springer IOP, Taylor and Francis, Wiley, and the prestigious Royal Society of Chemistry UK, etc. And also acting as a technical committee member of several international conferences and workshops. He is a member of several professional bodies like American Society of Mechanical Engineering ASME, SAE, ISTE, SBAIOI, MRSI. He received Bright Young Indian Scientist Travel Award from CSIR and Young Scientist Travel Award from DST thrice. His group has received Youth Innovation Award from the Chief Minister of Odisha in 2017. Apart from this, he also received Best Researcher Award in 2018, 2021 and 2022 by VIT AP University in the category of Publication, Patents and Sponsored Research. I welcome you, sir, and I request you take over the session. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, very good afternoon to all the participants. I extend my
Warm greetings to the organizers, particularly Swapna Garu and her team, CVR College and the management for this initiative. Yeah, I hope I'm audible, right? Clearly, my voice is clear.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I should really appreciate this initiative because this is what which actually makes the whole difference, because publications everybody can do, right? And then book chapter, text wise. So these are all the common things in every resume. But what makes our resume or our presence stand alone is the projects, right? And that is where actually we have to contribute, because someone is believing us and giving us money that yes, he is going to really do something. And to make other person believe that you are really going to do something and give you money is one of the toughest challenge, right? And it's not like people are uh, not capable or anything like that, but there are certain ways how we are going to present a proposal, right from title to the budgeting and the final conclusions, how we're going to present, right? So while the content is important, the style is also important, the approach is important. There are various parameters which actually uh, makes the entire success, which contribute to the successful recipe of a proposal, successful proposal. So without any further delay, I would like to share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. So today's topic, what I'm going to share my knowledge. I don't say like many of you are there, senior professors who also might have worked in sponsored projects, consultancy projects, and all. It's just a platform to share my thoughts, my approaches, what I adopt. All right.
Excuse
So
me, sir. Can you
yes.
increase the volume? Volume. It is not
Acha.
properly audible.
Okay. How about others? How about others? Are you facing the same issue?
It's okay, sir.
Okay,
We
sir.
are
No,
able to.
no, perfectly
Fine.
audible.
Okay, okay. Yeah, probably the madam who has her raised, probably you try to adjust your mic settings or microphone settings. Yeah. Thank you. Anyway, I'll try to increase my volume. Yeah. So proposal structuring and writing text formats, guidelines, evaluation parameters. Yeah, I do evaluate proposals for DST, and then ANRF also I do evaluate proposals, right? So till now, around 15 to 16 proposals I have evaluated. So with that, there are certain parameters where, as evaluators, we look into. So with that, one second, my slide is not moving forward. Just hold on. I'll unshare and share it again. You're able to see my screen now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Visible.
Yeah, but my slide is not moving forward. I don't know why. One second, just allow me a couple of minutes. Yes, okay.
Yeah, now it is moving, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, sorry for the technical glitch. Yeah, so this is the topic what I'm going to take, some formats, guidelines, evaluation parameters. So while the formats are readily available, so the general principles, if you see for any proposal writing, the first general principle is match your proposal with funding goals, follow the suggested structure, adjust based on the project type. So we'll see this, what these are, what is matching your proposal with the funding goals. Then length and language, very important. Main proposal, try to keep it within 20 pages. Appendices not included. Use simple and technical English. And other language proposals must include a translation. This I am speaking like suppose you are submitting for European Union proposals, right? A Spanish government, international proposals, if at all. So it is always advisable. They prefer the local languages, right? So the translation also, if you can provide, that will be good. So grant strategy, if we look into the strategic considerations, follow all the instructions carefully, use the funder's format and priorities, adapt the proposal to local context and needs. So the last point is very, very crucial. What is the a proposal aiming at? And our proposal should actually meet the local context. In the sense, if I'm writing a proposal within India, I can't try to solve a problem of China or some other country where the problem is prevalent there, right? While global problems are encouraged, most of the funding agencies, other than except international calls, right, the local calls, they all primarily aim to solve the problems locally. So framing your grant applications, clearly define the research topic and scope, explain why the project matters, outline the research process, estimated cost, and leadership structure. And now, if you see here, what are the core components of a research proposal writing? So the purpose of a research proposal should be very, very clear, which actually plays a very crucial role by in making the evaluators selecting your project to the next level. So the first step is explain what your research about. So that when you speak of purpose of a research proposal, it has got four key areas in it. What the research is about, show why the topic matters, describe how the research will be done, and justify the approach and the expected impact. Right? So these four should be very, very clear in your proposal. Right? And everything begins with the title page. Right, I'll tell you the importance of the title itself, because title itself plays a very crucial role. And then introducing your problem, the literature review, research design, reference list. So all these probably in your other sessions you might have actually looked into the research methodology and all that. Right, what is the introduction? How do you frame your problem? Right, research design. So these components you might have actually already looked into. Now let us understand some technical jargon. Right, because this is very crucial before you write a proposal. So whenever you speak of any proposal, there are two ways of looking at a proposal. One is a baseline study, other one is a need assessment. So baseline study is ideally a kind of survey sort of research work. It's a baseline study, right, to trying to understand the problem. And the need assessment is actually a next level. There is already a need which has been identified by some other study. And then the need has to be addressed. So there are two ways of it. One is baseline study or need assessment. So you have to categorize your project, and you also need to identify whenever there is a call by any funding agency, is the call trying to support a baseline study or a need assessment? Right? So what is a baseline study? An analysis describing the situation, art of development, intervention, which against which the progress can be assessed. Then beneficiaries. So your proposal should also have beneficiaries. Who are the beneficiaries? So these are the, I'm telling you because these are the things which an evaluator will primarily look into. Who are the beneficiaries? The people. So in your proposal, you should be able to tell, are the people going to the topmost beneficiaries, or the networks or organizations or institutions who will be benefited by the development of your intervention, the solution what you are proposing, right? So that has to be very, very clear. So if the beneficiaries is not clear, then the evaluator, it will be a big question for the evaluator. Then the impact, what kind of impact your proposal is going to make. So whenever you speak of impact, a result which is expected to sustain, usually regarded as a more profound and a long term than an outcome. So outcome is different and impact is different. I'll tell you in the further slides what is an outcome and what is the impact. And then indicators. In your proposal, you should also have an indicator, right? So what is an indicator? Something which is observable, which tells that your project has crossed this milestone. Your proposal should have that indicators, objective 1, and say methodology for objective 1. How are you going to achieve the objective 1? And then the success indicator for objective 1. How are you going to say that that objective is achieved? Right? A variable that we can observe, measure, or validate in some way that tells us about the progress made towards the intended result. So if your proposal doesn't have indicator, again, it's a alarm bell. It's an alarm for the evaluator. And then you should also have a logical framework, or sometimes simply we call it as a log frame table. I'll also show you what a log frame table is, right? So all these points, if they are there in your proposal, it gives a very, very strong impression on the evaluator that yes, this person really knows what he want to achieve. He knows the process, and he knows the tools which are used or which are helpful for him to achieve the proposal. So logical framework. So it's actually a management tool used in design, management, and evaluation of interventions, most often at a project level. It is presented as a table of columns, of which I will show you the format in the future slides. It involves identifying the results, results chain inputs, activities, outputs, outcomes, impact, assumptions, risks, indicators, and the means of verification. So it is like a complete comprehensive table. And then the objectives, then what are the outcomes of your project? What is the output? Then who are the partners, right? Like it's when I speak of partner, it can be a co-PI, it can be an organization itself, or if you are you're calling for a consortium of institutions commonly working towards a goal. And then finally, stakeholders. Stakeholder can be any entity, like it can be a government, it can be an agency, organization, community, individual, right? That have direct or indirect interest in the intervention. So who will be interested in your product? Finally, the output is there. You made something so wonderful, but there is no market for it. Right? Who are the people who are going to be the beneficiaries of it? Right? Who are interested in purchasing your product or taking it to the next level? Right? So these are the things which you can never miss this in your proposal. So usually what we have is objectives are usually there, outcomes are there, partners we do have. But most of the proposals fail to contain logical framework, right? And then the indicators they usually miss, indicators, and then the impact. So these three should be very, very clear, right? Now, the impact, what I'm speaking of. So what is an impact? Just a simple example. You're sowing a seed, right? This is the input, right? This is the input. And then there is a process by which there is a process like you put it in sunlight, you water it, you till the soil after every 10 days or 15 days, so there is proper aeration. You give some nutrients to it. You see that there are no worms or insects. So this is all the process. In the process, the tree grows. That is a process you have applied. So this is the input. There is a process you followed. And then the output is the fruit, or outcome is the fruit. If you stop only at the outcome in your proposal, nobody is interested in it. Nobody is interested in it. There is another term which we have seen in the previous slide. I told impact. So the impact is quite, sometimes it is easily seen, sometimes it cannot be seen so easily. Like example, I'll tell the same example you can consider. So this is the outcome. The outcome is the fruit. You followed a process, you sown a seed input, followed a process, you got a fruit. So when I say impact, what are the health benefits? What is by taking this fruit? That is an impact. That is an impact what this fruit has. So why only this particular food? Why only avocado? Because it has got so many health benefits. Its impact on health is very, very prominently seen. Why not banana? Right? So the impact what it has on the society, so like impact, like say suppose the fruit. Now this is the impact what the tree has. So you should be able to paint such a colorful, beautiful picture of your project. This is the strong impact what my project is going to have. If you just stop here at the outcome, yeah, it is one way of proposal, one way of presenting a proposal. It's not that there is never a case where a proposal with a good outcome fails to receive fund. Yeah, but impact is always what it makes the difference. So this is what we are speaking of impact, right? By taking the fruit, the kind of joy what the children get, the kind of nutrients what the children get, how they are nourished, the kind of shelter the tree gives, this is all the impact which are measurable. And then after impact, immediately we have seen what is the indicator. How can you measure that impact? A variable that we can observe, measure, or validate. So all these things you can see by eating the fruit, the impact of it can be observed, it can be measured, it can be validated. So your proposal should have that impact, and what are the ways, indicators which will show that impact? So those things also should be there. So now you have submitted a proposal. This is the decision tree of your proposal. Right? This is where you have submitted the proposal submitted by the PI. Right? And then the program officer, whoever is the in charge of that program, the program officer, he receives your proposal. Then there's a preliminary scrutiny, right? Whether it is eligible or not. In the initial stage, if they say not eligible, yes, you're dropped out there. Otherwise, the eligible proposals, they're accepted for further processing. You come here, and then they're assigned to domain experts. Usually, the number of experts they are given to are 4 experts. They are given to the 4 experts, all right? And each expert gives a rating out of 20. I'm speaking of our Indian government proposals, primary funding agencies, ANRF, and this. So 3 to 4 reviewers it goes, and each reviewer on a 20-point scale, they give the rating. Based on that, the review reports are submitted, and then the project assessment committee, right, preliminary screening, they have a meeting, right? And based on these comments by the domain experts, few of the projects are straight away not recommended, all right? And then there are other 2 categories. One is the project may be good, but it is not suitable for this kind of program, right? In such a case, right, it is not suitable to the PAC, and sometimes it is forwarded to this program officer for transfer, program coordinator for transferring it. And then the principal investor gets a mail that your project proposal is being transferred to some other call, right? Which rarely happens, right? And then it transferred to other PAC, right? And the other route is your proposal is recommended, all right? Once the proposal is recommended, then detailed review by again external members, right? And the PAC, it deliberates on individual proposals, comments, PA comment. They invite the PA if it is necessary, right? And then there's revisions, they undergo revisions, right? And then PA submits the revision. Once the PA submits the revision, it again undergoes the screening process, right? So, and then finally, the funds are released. And after that, you have got only administrative approval. So these are all the administrative process. And then finally, the release of funds. So you start here, proposal submitted, and to successfully to reach this final point, It takes a lot of what you say, a commitment, discipline, approach, strategy, and as I told, a lot of important components should go into the proposal. Now, the core proposal, at the core of the proposal, you have problem statement, right? And then I told the proposed solution should be there, right? The proposed solution, it explains the approach and methodology, highlights unique value, demonstrates feasibility, and then timelines are there, the expertise what your team has got, and then finally budget and resources. So any proposal, if you see, this is the content of any proposal. It starts from problem statements, ends at budget and resources. Now, but there are different formats. All proposals are not same. There are purely academic proposals, and there are grant-based proposals, and there are fewer business proposals. Now, initially, maybe up to some 5 years back, right? 5 to 6 years back, if you see, most of the proposals are, or I can say even a decade back, most of the proposals are grant-based proposals. And rest of them are academic proposals. Very rarely the government agencies gave business-based proposals, opened business-based proposals. Most of us, what we apply for also are usually grant-based proposals, right? So grant in the sense they give the money, you utilize it, give the compliance reports, right? Project reports annually you submit, and there ends it, right? Academic proposals, right? Centers on research design, methodology, show contribution to knowledge, right? These are all academic. And the third one is a business grant. Business grant are the projects which the government funds, which shows returns on investment, like MSME grants, right? They're actually business, because in the proposal itself, you have to show the business model. They'll ask you for a business model, right? And in those business models, I'll show you. Then highlight the strategy, market potential, and financial outcomes of your final product. Now let us see a business grant. Right, this is a format. Some of the important elements which I picked up from a format of a business grant. Now you can see, like in a business grant, initially itself you need to identify whether your solution, what you're proposing, is for industrial application, or it's for innovation or a societal need, and at what stage you have. This is a business grant. I'll tell you the difference between business grant and other. So on a TRL level, at what scale it is? 3 to 6. Right? I hope all of you know what are TRL levels. Probably in the previous sessions you might have seen technology readiness level, whether it is an ideation level or a prototype level or a pilot scale, right? Or market ready, right? So, and for this, you need to show the proper preliminary study and lab prototypes for this. And then when you come to significance of the project, this I already told you, major applications of the proposed technology, then target beneficiaries and expect impact, right? Beneficiaries and impact. We have seen in our technical jargon slide itself, right? And what further works will require after the project for commercial exploitation of the technology. So this usually you don't find in regular grants. Just a research-based grants, usually don't find this. Or even if it is found also, the evaluators doesn't pay so much impact on the commercialization, because most of the research grants, they focus on the fundamental sciences. They support many projects on the understanding the principle, right? The fundamental sciences and the approach of the fundamental sciences, the first principles, understanding the first principles of a new science, okay, or a new material, right? So when you're spending the amount on understanding the first principles, it's a long way to go and reach the commercialization stage. So usually in research grant-based proposals, you don't find. But in business grants, this is a very, very important component. So it all depends on how you present this, the commercial potential. And for this, you should have done a lot of background work. And that has to reflect in your proposal. Now, yeah, one second. One second, sorry. Yeah. So, yeah, the business model, business grant, as I've told you, it doesn't give you a grant. The amount, an entire amount is never given as a grant. They usually offer loans, and the government sometimes, more or most of the times, right? It facilitates to be a collateral a mediator, right? In the sense, if the company or X, Y, and Z or the research grant to whom the grant is given, if they are pay back the amount, right? Then what kind of support government is going to give in terms of incentives? So usually they give loans. The financial assistance to industrial concerns is provided as a soft loan, 5% simple interest per annum. It's not compound interest. You can see here, an interest rate is just 5%. It's a simple interest per annum, right? So that actually gives a lot of encouragement to the people who execute the project. The second one is equity. So they give the entire amount to you, provided your proposal, your outcome, impact, the commercial impact it is going to your project, your outcome is going to make on the society. There is a, what do you say, a strong return on investment, right? Then what they do is they offer an equity in the sense they want a share in the company. They give you grant. If it's a 5 crore project or 10 crore project or 20 crore project, the complete project they give you, right, for establishing the center of excellence X, Y, and Z. But the outcome, whatever is there, right, they expect a equity, say 25% or 50% or 10%, whatever it is. The third one is grant, right? The Technology Development Board, example, like in India, we have TDB, Technology Development Board, which is again under DST. It provides financial assistance by way of grants to industrial concerns and R&D institutions engaged in developing indigenous technologies, right? So this is a business grant. And then we look at other sample format, right? So, see, most of you might have submitted proposals for ANRF, what do you say, Early Career Research Award, Prime Minister Early Career Research Award, or this Advanced Research Grant, right? Which are the common calls, right? So I try to, as maximum as possible, avoid those because you might have definitely gone through those formats. And I try to pick up certain formats where, which usually you might not come across, right? These are the role and contribution of, okay, is the lead applicant based in proposals, proposed project primary country of focus. What is the primary country? These are ideally for international grants, right? When you're saying international grants, like say RAE, European Union proposals, then British Council proposals, right? Then they support the proposals across the globe. You can take any problem across the globe. Sometimes the proposals, the calls of the grants, they are country specific, right? When you speak of some general problem, right? So the lead applicant, wherever he is based, the primary focus where the problem is being addressed, the country, that is important, right? And see, like as I mentioned, Royal Academy of Engineering, did we already get any grants previously? Right? And what is the impact of that project? So these are the things what they're going to look. And project description, right? In the project description, yes, project title, these are all standard things. And other two things, are you applying for a baseline study or awareness raising study? Right? So again, if it's a baseline study, we need to choose for baseline study or an awareness raising study or a need-based grant, right? And would you like mentorship as a part of your grant? So every project, sometimes they ask for mentorship when you go for international proposals. They ask for a mentor. So ideally, it's better like you choose for a mentor other than a collaborating university abroad. Try to identify the mentor. So recently in the ANRF Advanced Research Grant also, like a similar concept of this mentorship has been reflected where they are calling it as by different name called honorary investigators. It is something like mentorships. They don't get any fund of the entire project or you don't allocate any budget for them. But still, like based on their expertise, right, you consider them the stalwarts in the field of the proposed area. And then like you assure them that these are the people who are going to help me in achieving the goals of the project and see that the impact of the project is maximum. Right? And section 3, if you see like a project focus. Now, one important thing, what the evaluators or most of the funding agencies look for is the sustainable development goals, which you're to address. Right? We all know that there are 17 different sustainable development goals identified by United Nations, right? Like waste for education, smart cities, clean water, right? Animal life below water, right? Life on land, right? Sanitation, like so many sustainable development goals are there. So you need to be clear what are the primary sustainable development goals your project focuses on and what are the secondary sustainable development goals your project will focus on, right? Even if these are not there in your proposal, try to fit it somewhere in the impact, right? How will your project address the selected sustainable development goals? And what is the primary geographical focus and what is the secondary geographical focus, right? So what is the current context of the project need and what evidence you already have and how does project address the health and safety concerns? What innovative and creative approaches will you use to carry out your project, right? So whether or not your proposal will ask for these questions, these elements either directly or indirectly, they should be addressed in your proposal. And actually you can highlight this with a different color or you can underline them in your proposal where the evaluator's attention will easily go there, right? So one thing you can't miss out is sustainable development goals, both primary and secondary. What are the areas, geographical areas, which will be benefited directly by this, right? So these two things you should include. And then it is always highly beneficial if we have some already existing data, right? And this I already told you output, objectives, outputs, right? Outcomes and impact, right? And then stakeholder engagement. This also you need to be clear, stakeholder engagement. It is always good to show a stakeholder map in the sense you are showing different outcomes, outcome 1, outcome 2, outcome 3. Right? In that outcome 1, who is the primary stakeholder who is interested in that outcome 1? Whether it is the industry or a university or an organization or a municipality or a government, who is the person? So you need to do that mapping. And which key stakeholders you've already engaged with that will ensure the successful outcome of this project. Are you already engaged with any stakeholder, right, in working towards this problem, right? So that also, if you can include, it will have added value to your proposal. And how do you plan to disseminate results, all right? So this, while how do you plan to disseminate results? This is mostly through publications, right? But more than that, what has an impact is because publications very rarely are referred to, right? It's always good if you can show like the dissemination of results to stakeholder engagement, to participation expo, right? A product display, right? And contacting industry. If that is a way or plan, if you show for disseminating results, it shows a very, very focused, or it gives a very positive impression to the evaluator. Yes, that the investigator is very focused on taking his product to the market, right? And then again, budget and timeline, if you see, there are, you can also keep them informed about any other budget, what you already received in kind, right? Or cash from other funding sources. And finally, like the section 7, declaration and letter support. So declarations are the letter by the investigator, endorsement. So these are all the other formalities usually we have. So any proposal, if you see, right, these are the things what we have, right? The formats, and whether or not some of the proposals will have a stakeholder engagement. You do not insert a heading called stakeholder engagement, but then you need to be very clear that the stakeholder engagement is very clear, very clearly spelled out in our proposal, right? Whether or not your proposal asks for sustainable development goals, primary or secondary, make sure that somewhere you insert them in relevance to the proposal, and see how it is going to fulfill the sustainable development goals of the United Nations, right? So that part here, this is the log frame template which I was speaking of. So you can mention the objectives here, right? So if you can actually insert this one table, the evaluator will have a very, very positive feel that yes, this person, he knows really what he want to do, right? And then the objectives for this achieving this objective, what are the activities you are going to conduct? Activities in the sense that it can be an experimentation, all whatever you're doing. Then outputs, then outcome, right? Outcome is again the effect of the intervention. Outputs. Output is the results. That's all. Results, outcome, and then the indicator. So indicator also, if you see here, output indicator, outcome indicator. How are you going to measure the success of output? How are you going to measure the success of outcome? Right? So again, indicator, as we have mentioned in the initial technical jargon itself, I have mentioned a variable that can be observed, measured, or validated in some way to indicate the progress made towards the intended or other aspect of performance, right? And the performance level has been achieved. How are you going to measure it? So any outcome has to be measurable. Just like even in our what is outcome-based education, we say like our outcome should be measurable, right? That's what we give CO and PO, right? We give it on a scale of 3, right? And then we give numbers to it, right? So if your projects actually can have a log frame template, see, most of the proposals, they do have what is this timeline, where usually most of the projects have this Gantt chart, but very, very rarely we see proposals having this log frame template. It's a very good practice to include a log frame template. Particularly, your evaluators will be very much impressed if you can show output indicators and also outcome indicators for each of the objective, which is what I told in the first or second slide while discussing. In the future slides, I'll show you. For each objective, it shows very, very clear and gives a very strong impression to the evaluator, and there will be a high likely chance. Right, and then of course, like I've told, the cover letter plays an important role, of course. Then title page, executive summary, table of contents. Now, as I've told, apart from this, crafting an effective title is also very crucial, right? Usually, framing of a title is the last thing you do in a proposal. You may initially come up with some kind of title, right? It's not like a thumb rule. It's not like a thumb rule, but you can initially come out with some kind of a vague title, and then you can proceed with your writing with the proposal. And once the proposal is completed, looking into the entire contents of it, starting from abstract, I mean the initial, I mean the origin of the proposal, right, till the deliverables, whatever you are giving and the impact what it is making, right? Looking into that, you need to recraft your title, right? You need to recraft the title, and your title is the first thing which makes a strong impression. It makes a very, very strong impression. All right. So sometimes if your title, your content may be really very good, you're addressing a unique problem, but if the title is very plain title, right, not catching some high frequency words, or it's not up to date with the technical jargon of today's scientific community in that specific field, I don't say that reviewers are so blind, but then it gives a secondary opinion on your proposal. And suppose if our stars are not good, if your astrological stars are not good, sometimes a title may play a crucial role in pushing our proposal aside, right? And it clearly reflects. So while you focus on giving a best title, you should never push aside the title reflecting the main focus of the project. So it should convey both, right? So keep it short and specific, make it easy to understand, ensure it matches with the proposal content. Now, title guidelines, if you see, it should reflect novelty of your project or the entire proposal. It should carry the impact in the sense, if you can show the flavor of SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goal you're addressing, right, like impacting the livelihoods of, say, rural community or some title, the title itself will carry the flavor that, yes, this project is trying to address a sustainable development goal, right? And try to avoid very, very long titles, project titles. It should never be like a paragraph, right? A best title should be somewhere around 20 and not more than 25, right? If you go for international proposals like NSF funding or European Union fundings, and sometimes even in our DST, they have a restriction on the number of words. Not all the proposals, some proposals do put a restriction on the number of words, right? But ideally, if your title should be around 20 words, less than 20 words is always better. It should be crisp and clear, right? And then, as I told, all this should be there. It should reflect novelty, carry the impact, and use an acronym. I'll show you an example of what an acronym is, which will actually make your proposal stand apart, right? It's not mandatory, but then it gives a feel-good factor for the evaluator. Like an example, I'll tell you. So you can see this: sustainable processes and reuse of organic underutilized trash, creating inclusive regenerative circular livelihoods for entrepreneurs. This is the title. After this title, I'll give an acronym. That's called Sprout Circle. Right? SPROUT. Sprout. Circle. CIRCLE. Circle stands for creating inclusive regenerative circular livelihoods for entrepreneurs. Right? And if you see the title, it will be less than 20 words. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 words. Right? You can see here, liquid enabled advanced pitch. In brackets, you can say LEAP semiconductor manufacturing. Advanced chip design enablement in 3D. So ACE 3D. So see, while you choose a title, right? So why I'm saying title is it will capture the attention. Like if you see our ANRF and these proposals also, they give a very, very beautiful acronyms, and we'll be attracted by those acronyms. I would just wonder every time, they came up with a very beautiful acronym. They come out with like Kiran, DST, for women, they have got a Kiran. Right. And then, what do you say? So likewise, like you have got, right now, it's not striking me. So try to get acronyms, right? So while this is not mandatory, very, very few proposals come up with this. Very few, I can say less than 1% or 2%, but then it gives a feel-good factor. So the entire proposal, the proposal Sprout Circle, right? It gives like some title acronyms have given here. right, of some of the proposals. And if possible, if you can give a tagline to your proposal, right, it will give a feel-good factor, right? And then projects overview, then key proposal components. Yeah, this I already told you, project title, an estimated budget, estimated duration. So this estimate duration is also a very crucial term. You should balance between the number of outcomes or objectives what you're promising and the duration what you're presenting. You can't put 20 objectives and in the duration of 2 years. Your proposal can be really good, outstanding proposal. Your methodology is fine, everything is fine, right? Your budget is also reasonably okay. But then you're given 15 objectives to be achieved in just 2 years. You thought like, if you can impress that so many things I'll do in a very short span, the likely chance for getting a proposal is high. Yeah, while that may be true, but then you should also see that the people who are evaluating the proposals, they are not naive. Right. So it should be reasonable. You should also take into consideration the time delays. Right. So make a proper balance between the objectives what you are promising to be achieved, right, and the time duration, right, and overemphasis or trying to be over smart in the sense of trying to achieve more objectives in a shorter duration of time. It will give an indication that these objectives are not achievable in this smaller duration of time, and sometimes that can be a decisive factor in not selecting your proposal forward, right? And then problem and justification. While the formats we have seen earlier, so the capacity building is one thing which you can actually project well in your proposal. Capacity building in the sense how inclusive your proposal and its facilities are. Like if you see in the last 4 to 5 years probably, when we submit a proposal, particularly for equipment, right, when we put a budget under equipment, they are asking for how much time this equipment is available for others to use. 10% of the time, 20% of the time, 50% of the time, right? Can we allow that equipment to be used by colleges nearby? It is exclusive for your project, no doubt, but ultimately it is government money. They want facilities here, at least nearby colleges who are working. So that is actually capacity building. So when we are putting an equipment or something like that, right, ideally, if around 25 to 30%, if it is useful for other people, it will be good, right? And scientific importance of your proposal, all this in the problem statement and justification, you need to do it, right? So then research objectives. Yeah, one thing actually I missed here, but then there are, one is general objective, the other one is specific objective. So we need to be very clear with the general objective and specific objectives. Or you can say research objective and research aim. There is a difference between research objective and research aim. Right? So in some proposals, they ask you both objectives and also aims. So we will be confused whether to put this in objective or in an aim. So first we type something in objective and then cut it and put it in aims, or sometimes vice versa. Something we put in aim, you cut it here and put it in objective. Right? So general objective is like, as I mentioned here, overall goal of the research. You don't go into technical details of it. Like overall goal is, let us say, like the previous we have seen, trying to improve the livelihoods of rural people by creating wealth from rice husk. It's a very, or it's a, you can say agricultural waste. It's a very general objective, but it does carry a meaning along with it, right? And the specific objectives, you can also call them as aims. Specific objectives or aims. They are targets. So let's not confuse with objective and specific objectives or aims. Specific objectives also you can call it as a aim, right? And then your abstract, right? Abstract, or sometimes they proposal abstract, or sometimes they call it a proposal summary, right? It should have these 4 components within 300 words. A brief summary of your main problem, right? The research method, the expected results, and how they will be used. These 4 elements should be there in your abstract within 300 words of your entire proposal, right? So before anyone goes into the complete proposal, they are going to read this proposal summary. This is title and proposal summary. This is where actually you can make a deep impact, right? And the way you present your proposal should be more. It is always good, like you have preliminary results included in the proposal, right? So specific objectives I have told you, they are measurable targets. General objective is a broad goal, and focus on the outcomes, not on activities. This is also important, right? Yeah, technology implications. This is also another important element which will be considered for evaluation. One thing is demand and supply. You may be working on a very novel project, but there is no demand to the product at all, right? And then the profitability of your outcome, and then the social impact, what it is going to have. So these 3, that is, one is technological implications and socioeconomic implications. If you can prove these 3 to be very strong, there is high likely chance that your proposal will be through, right? So methodology, so I'm not going to speak much on it, but because I think you already had a session on research methodology part, extended methodology as well, right? Expected outcome and dissemination, yeah, key outputs and dissemination strategy. So this also you can actually impress upon them, key outputs, that workshops and conferences, reports and publications, new methods or technologies. Then dissemination strategy, how are you going to disseminate the results? All right. So disseminate the findings to researchers, policymakers, and communities. Use brief toolkits, media, and open platforms. Then institutional personnel. So research institutional collaborators. This plays a very crucial role, particularly nowadays. Most of the funding agencies, what they are looking is for collaborative proposals rather than a single institution proposals. Multi-institutional proposals are most welcome, right? And most likely the cross-domain research proposals or multidisciplinary proposals are most welcome. So it's always good if you can have a cross-discipline, a problem which is more, what do you say? It spreads its wings into the other domains as well, say mechanical and say computer science engineering, or electrical and computer science engineering, a common problem, all right, where one investigator is from say one domain, other investigator is from other domain. The roles of each of these people are clearly defined, right? Why 2 people are required from 2 different domains, that and the involvement of other institutions or other central labs if possible in the proposal. These also will actually add a strong flavor to the recipe of successful and project schedule and duration, right? This but I've already discussed earlier presentations. Budget, category, and notes. This also I'll quickly go through it, right? Then budget, you can split it into contributions and grants. If you are expecting any contributions, and the contributions can be an institutional contribution also, in the sense if your entire project grant, the project required to come, amount required to complete the project is say suppose 1 crore, you can say like from the university is say suppose 10 lakhs, or contribution from some industry. Although the call may not be, may not mandate an industry partner, but if you can say that the entire project cost is say 1 crore, of which say 15 lakh or something will be contributed by the university, it gives a very, very positive feel for the funding agency or the evaluator that yes, tomorrow if the outcome is there, the industry or someone are ready to take the output of it. Right? And your entire budget should be based on 12-month period, okay? And for all the quotations, everything should be in national currency, and account for inflation and specify the index which you have used. The budget categories, you all know this. For personnel, then the consulting fees, equipment fee, then other expenses, international travel, all this you can include in it, right? Budget summary you can provide. Then research expenses, also like you can split up into payment of individuals, computer services, right? And the budgeting notes, or you can call budget justification, you can call, but it explains what's covered and how the cost was calculated. It's the budget justification you call, or we can call it the budget notes. For every item, you give an explanation why you need this, right? That will give you a good one. And then coming to evaluation, once again, in the evaluation, at the evaluator point of view, these are the things like usually which are asked in the evaluator's form, like just like how we have got reviewer for a paper. There are certain questions which the journal expects that a reviewer has to answer, right? So in the evaluation also, when a proposal comes to us for say evaluation, or whoever evaluates it, who will use it? That's what we will see first. What it focuses on, right? Whether it is linked with the project or not, or the call of the project or not, and then how it is done. What are the resources which are needed? Are these 4 things which are clearly spelled out in the proposal or not? Right? And the evaluation plan, right? In that we will see how the success is defined or how it will be measured. All right? And does the project include the methods of to assess the effectiveness, right? And does the elements of transparency and accountability are there in the proposal? All right. Other thing, like in the try to give appendices also. Appendices play a very important role. Appendices, see, sometimes some information may not be asked, but if you have something which is very, very strong, which will add a strong value to your proposal or a grant, right? It may not be directly asked, but then you can give it as an appendices. Or appendices, you can say like in Indian context, we have like any other information they will tell. So do not hesitate to put any other special accomplishments what you have, right? In relevance to the project. Okay. Like if you can see here, a sample example I am showing you. When a proposal comes to an evaluator, there's format A, format B. So few questions actually I have eliminated because I'm not supposed to show them. Like the scientific quality and novelty of the proposed work. What is the impact and expected outcome? Then overall comments. Right? So each of this, it's not like an evaluator just gives 1 or 2 lines. Right? Because someone is evaluating a proposal of say 5 crores or 2 crores, I just can't put say 1 word here. So the evaluator also, it takes it really goes to people who are quite knowledgeable in that area, right? Who have kept themselves up to date in the area. So they go through this and give detailed comments. And then format B, we need to address all these 5, A to E. You can see relevant, scientific quality, novelty of the proposed work. What is the approach and methodology? Is it clear? Then the impact and the expected outcome. Then what is the expertise of the PI and co-PI? Right? What are the available institution facilities? What is the quality of the proposed collaboration? You can see here, quality of the proposed collaboration. Right? So while collaborations are encouraged, it's not like I'm a college X and there is a next door college Y, I'll collaborate with it. All right? Does the collaboration promote or the mutual expertise, call for mutual expertise? Then internal comments for committee discussion, including budget. So the evaluator, right, he can give exclusive comments, right, which he feels there are specific concern in the project. There can be a technical flaw. Those also he can very clearly write here, and include it so that the committee with the PAC can sit and discuss on it, and even budget. If I feel the budget is also totally inappropriate, right, I may put 5 crores budget, but in reality, the objectives what you have given hardly would take around 60 to 70 lakh. But then you inflated the budget like anything to show some 5 or 6 lakh. Then I can put a remark there, right? And see, this is say for another funding agency. The significance and originality of the proposed research, relevance of the objectives, what is the scientific approach, expertise of the PI and co-PI, comments on the ongoing and completed projects. You can see this here, comments on the ongoing and completed projects, remarks on the proposed budget, and overall comments on the proposal. So recommendation, you can give good, poor, bad, right? And then overall rating you can give, right? So it's always good, like comments on the ongoing and completed projects. It is always good, like if you have completed projects, try to highlight the outcome or the project footprint of a previously completed projects. That will have always have a positive impact, right? And then the program coverage, manpower, human resource development also actually you can show your project by the completion of by the time your project is completed, it will give it will produce one PhD or one master's candidate. That will also actually will be very beneficial. And then, as I told, appendices or any other information, you can actually include things which are not mentioned in the proposal here, right? Like the honorary team members or honorary investigators resumes you can include here, right? The maps, as I told, all right, stakeholder maps you can include here. They may not be directly asked, but you can include stakeholder maps here. Include supporting documents, right? The bibliographies or references, letters of support from other industries who are willing to support you in terms of either facilities or cash or technical expertise, right? The letters of expression of interest from them. So all those actually you can put in this, and finally you go with the submission checklist, right? Carefully go through it. Yeah, and with that I'll call off the presentation. Yeah. So over to you, Swapnil Garu.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. Sir, thank you for delivering such a comprehensive and insightful session. So, as always, sir, I am truly awestruck by the clarity and depth reflected in your slides. I think as teachers, we should first learn to prepare out the slides from you, sir. Like I've been attending many sessions, and also in our FDP also, the colors you choose and the way you try to present in the slides, sir, that clearly shows the time, effort, and the passion you have invested in preparing them.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Sir,
you so much.
as you mentioned, sir, in the recent AICTE RPS also, lab to market call it was. Clearly, they have mentioned lab to market call, and proposals were expected to demonstrate at the TR level 7, 6 or 7, they have clearly mentioned.
Actually, gone are the days where now the government is not interested in just granting research proposals. More or less, like information what I got from some of the internal members of the agencies, down the line 5 to 6 years later, there will be only business grants. They will say, or like matching grants. College should give say 50%, government will give 50%, or they'll give certain kind of loan.
Sir,
So
we will take some questions, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, as I was mentioning, like in almost all the recent call for proposals, mentor was there, sir. So, sir, how to explain or justify the role of mentor? And I'll tell you the situation also, sir. Usually, we will be knowing a person from NIT Warangal or from IIT and all. So they may not be their expertise or their area of research may not be inclined to the proposal whatever I have submitted. So then in that case, sir, how to justify or explain the role of mentor in such cases?
No, we have to be very clear. Mentor, purpose of mentor is he should be an expert in that area. There is no secondary option to it. Or it should be like in terms of facilities. In terms of facilities, usually a mentor is someone who is expert in that area.
Sir.
Because the role of institution definitely plays a crucial parameter in justifying the quality of collaboration. But quality of collaboration is not just the institution where you're affiliated to or the mentor is affiliated to. He may be from IISc Bangalore. Right, and his specialization is, say, suppose Center for Environmental Engineering, and you're writing a proposal in, say, computer science. Just to have a tag of, let us say, IISc Bangalore, if we put, that will not actually work out. So role of mentor has to be very clear. And if we can map, as I told, in the appendices, we can map the stakeholder mapping, right? Likewise, the honorary investigator or mentor mapping also we can do. For this objective, this mentor, this is his role. That will actually give a very, very strong feel. So while choice of the mentor, we have to be very clear, right? It's not just adding premier institutions, right? It is expertise of the individual, right? Who's helping us. If it is like a consortium kind of thing, then the approach is slightly different. If it is a research grant, it is different. But if it is a consortium, like trying to establish a center of excellence, in that kind of cases, then yeah, some other like in the hub and spoke model. There, yes, the hub, the university itself will play a crucial role compared to the expertise of the individual principal investigator or so. But if it is a research proposal or research grant-based proposal, like AICT, RPS, you're telling, it is like research
Yes.
promotion scheme. It is
Yes.
grant-specific, means problem-specific.
Yes.
So there we should carefully choose the mentor in terms of expertise. But if it is a, as I told, consortium based or a hub and spoke model, then the university or the choice of the institution can actually help us, putting aside the expertise of the investigators.
Sir, for suppose if the proposal is selected for presentation,
Uh,
can we make any slight modification, maybe in terms of objectives or deliverables
yeah,
while giving the presentation?
yeah, you can, but see, like that will give a negative impact actually. That will give a negative impact because whenever the project assessment
Or
comes,
sir, or like we can add any clarity to the objectives.
yes, clarity can be added. Clarity can be added because we are called for the presentation or the proposal is shortlisted based on the objectives what we have given initially. Now, if we are changing the objectives, changing of objecting is different and adding clarity is different. You can always add clarity. That's not a problem.
And so one more thing, when we give any letter like collaborating with the rehabilitation centers, especially, sir, how to justify in the presentation, sir? Like what are the inputs taken and all? Like, do we have to document them or orally will it be sufficient?
See,
Especially when we are taking any inputs from the rehabilitation centers.
see, there are two things. See, like in the proposal, any proposal they will ask like the preliminary work done, right?
Sir.
Preliminary work done, it can be two ways of it. One is technical, other one is non-technical. Technical is just a solution to X problem. So in direction of that, you already achieved, say, TRL level 4. So you already have results up to TRL level 4. Now you want funding to take it to up to TRL level 7. So you already have results up to TRL level 4. So those results you're including. That is definitely good. But there is other side of it, involving the public. For that, you need pictorial evidences, right, documentary evidences. This will have a very, very strong value, particularly on that their letterheads and these kind of things.
Okay. Sir, there is one more question,
Hello.
sir. Can we extend a research paper to project which is useful for society?
See, I don't know how many of you have gone through the science and technology policy, which is released by DST. See, every nation has got national priorities. Uh, I don't know, in this crowd, I think we almost have around 300 people.
Yes, sir. And so on YouTube, it has been telecasted.
That's what. And I don't know how many of you have gone through the science and technology policy given by DST in 2020, I think, 2020 or 2021. So 4 years back. So usually DST or other funding agencies, in a span of say 5 years or 10 years, the national priorities change, the technological developments keep changing. So the science and technology policy of any given nation, it keeps changing. So the priority areas or the key thrust areas of the nation are listed out in the science and technology policies. It's better like we go through it, and also you can see like NSF, National Science Foundation. That site is available if you want. You can click NSF previously granted. Now NSF is like US funding agency. And European Union also. The previously funded projects of European Union, previously funded projects of NSF, you don't get the full proposal, but then you have some titles, some brief abstract. In the recent years, in 2025, in 2024, in the last 3 years or 4 years, you can go through those actually. We can go through, so what kind of proposals are funded in US? What kinds of proposals are funded in European Union? Right? The titles we can go and the abstract, only that we can go. We can see, we cannot see the entire details of the proposal. If you are an evaluator for that funding agency, then yes, you will be given separate login, you can go through and see. But otherwise, like as a common...
Time is 3:15, last 45 minutes left.
Yeah.
So please mute the participants' mic. Ramesh sir.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, sir. My name is Dr. Pramod Kumar from CMR College.
Yeah, very good afternoon.
Your session is very wonderful, sir. Actually, I have one question, sir. In general, if you submit any proposal in any call, they are verifying the background process of how many papers relevant to that idea.
Correct.
So but of course, somebody they will explore based on the societal issues they will observe, and they will make the some project development. I mean idea development. So such cases, if you don't have any papers on that, even though novelty of the work is there, so simply they are rejecting some cases. Is it right way to directly reject without publishing of the paper on that? Is it right way, sir? I mean, I'm not asking you, sir. Generally these scenarios is happened. Even we applied multiple times. They are asking about we don't have background of the. You're not handled any one project. You don't have sufficient publications on that particular topic.
See,
such type of things will I mean we faced in the previous times.
Let me tell you openly. See, as an evaluator, like I've evaluated around 17 to 18 projects so far. There is one element which all the evaluators give highest importance. That is expertise of the principal investigator in executing the project's goals. Expertise of the principal investigator. How can I know the expertise of the investigator? What are the parameters? How can I measure the expertise? There should be some measuring tool, right? That is why in the proposal itself, we have publications relevant to the theme of the project. So I need some tools to measure your expertise. Otherwise, it is like writing a novel, writing a story. If I can see that Professor Bhavish, he has already worked in this area and he has 10 publications in this area. So based on these outcomes, he wants to explore more in this area, then that is a measure for me. So if not publications, if not previous publications, if not previous projects, can you list any other ways where an evaluator can measure the expertise of the investigator? There is no other way. I can't call you and speak. Sometimes the preliminary results what you have, yes, they do play a role. You may have preliminary results, but if they are not published, there is no credibility of those publications. You might have brought someone, you means don't take it anything personal. Person X might have bought results from some other place, he kept it. But if their results are published and they are on your name, it gives credibility. It is a measuring, these are the measuring parameters for the evaluator, because that is what I also see. When I have to answer the question, expertise of the investigator, principal investigator in executing the project goals, I go to the goals, then I go back to the publications relevant to the theme. If there is not a single publication relevant to the theme of the proposal, then I don't get confidence. How can I get, because I am an ex-person, I don't know who you are. So these are the parameters by which the expertise of the investigator is measured. So it is always good that at least we have a couple of publications in the relevant area. It also gives an impression to the evaluator that yes, this person has been working in this area for last 4 or 5 years, right? So I think there is no way out to that. I hope like I've addressed you, Dr. Bhavish.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we'll wait for 1 more minute, sir. We'll check like whether we have any questions.
Yeah.
So we completed the questions, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, I would like to mention that I'm personally grateful to acknowledge sir's support in referring and connecting us with distinguished resource persons for this FDP. Your support and guidance have played a vital role in enriching the quality and success of this program, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all the participants.
Sir, we will end the session.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.